Let's move on to the next section and the most important one, analysis. This phase starts after you have selected your case study and when you have reached to the site of your case study. Conducting a case study is like experimenting with different chemicals in a laboratory. You choose your chemicals, mix them and heat them and analyze them. And the results will give you the inference which can be called as learnings. All the three aspects of the experiment are very important. That is the process of choosing, the process of heating and mixing, the process of analysis and the inference. All these aspects become very crucial to any experiment. This is the most important thing to remember. Not everything will be available to you. You observe some things for yourself. You ask questions. Why is it the way it is? Then you interpret. This is what we called as the self-introspection. Now, to understand this section of the case study, we have to keep two aspects in mind. One is observations and interpretations, and the another one is generic versus specific. To understand these deeper and what exactly it means, let's move on to the further slides. Observations and interpretations. Why is it the way it is? This is very important question. To have better understanding, let us consider three examples or three different typologies expressing three different situations. Courtyard or a veranda house, congested house with a balcony, or a private residence. Traditional courtyard or a veranda house. Now let us consider what will be our observations. First, women inside the house are within the courtyard and men are sitting on the veranda. What will be our interpretations? Intimate spaces within the house will be used by females. Like courtyard, there is a space for gossiping and other household chores. Whereas veranda will be used as a place of security, that people outside can only enter the house till a point. Congested house with multiple families. Observations. Women are on the top of the floor of the balcony. Men are on the ground floor. These houses have balconies which can overlook each other. What will be our interpretations? Women can see from the above who all are coming and they can talk with people on the adjoining balconies. Again, the ground floor will be used by the men or people who can secure the uh, house. People from outside can only enter the house till a point. Now let us consider the third example of private residence or an individual bungalow. What will be our observations? Building elements like window designs and pergolas. Lot of exhibits on the ground floor. It was an open plan with minimal walls. Accordingly, what will be our interpretations? The building was designed as per the climate. The ground floor was specifically designed as a semi-public zone and used as an event space. The ground floor was meant to be semi-public zone. The upper floor was a private areas. Generic versus specific. When you will be at the site, you will observe two categories of ideas, which fall into either generic or specific. Generic is something which is general, elements which are common and can be applied into other design forms or design. These generic ideas can be taken forward, little bit twisted, and can be applied into your design. Whereas specific ideas are those which have erupted out of specific site, which are specific to those people or site or that particular context. Let's take an analogy. Generic idea of wearing a jacket is a good for all types of people in all countries, for all climates. But wearing a thick jacket with a fur and wool is specific to that particular climate. You cannot adapt this as your fashion clothing. Similarly, let's take an architectural example of Guggenheim Museum. Taking the general ideas which can be taken forward, for example, the interdependency of spaces or the configuration of spaces, transition areas, can be applied into your design. Whereas specific ideas in the case study should not be taken as they are specifically designed as per the context and the site. For example, the form of the building. This form is developed out of the site proportions or the available pillars. So this form cannot be exactly copied into your design. It is the generic overview which has to be taken rather than the specific, because nothing will match 100% to your design.